What's up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a dumbbell only leg focused workout. So this is a roughly around 30 to 45 minute workout, and all you're gonna need is your dumbbells. Each exercise is gonna be for around 4 rounds, 3 to 4 rounds depending on your time. And then rep wise, it's gonna be 10 to 12 reps in total, or per exercise or per leg. So first things first, we're gonna put on our grips, which I'm gonna be using the Versa grips today. You guys have seen me use these a ton in my videos. I'm using the Fit Pro ones. One, because I just like the color, but two, they just fit my hand a little bit better. These ones specifically are made for more of a smaller hand, and being 5'0", that's perfect for me. So in terms of how they look, just like that, and then how to use them, you wanna basically take the dumbbell, wrap it around, and then grab. And that makes it really easy. They're really sticky leather, so it makes it easy for you guys to just like go through all these exercises, especially because it's dumbbell only, so that way it saves you time from having to put the dumbbells down, readjusting your grip, and kind of just like wasting time. These ones make it a little bit more efficient, as well as you can really focus on the exercise rather than like your grip strength throughout, which is the reason why I use my grips. So first, we're gonna be going through 4 movements. So the movements are going to be a superset of a sumo deadlift and a sumo squat. So that one's gonna be 10 to 12 reps each exercise. Then you're gonna be going into a reverse lunge, and that's gonna be 10 to 12 reps per leg. Then we're gonna go into a RDL, Romanian deadlift. That's gonna be 12 in total. And then lastly, we're gonna finish off with either just a regular glute bridge or a single leg glute bridge, in which case it'd be 10 to 12 total or 10 to 12 each leg. So first one's first, we'll get into the tutorial, and hopefully you guys like this video. So grabbing my dumbbells here, I'm doing 10 kilograms. I picked this weight, 1, because I'm a little sore today, but 2, just because we're doing so much of the movements, I wanna pick a weight that can be pretty consistent throughout all of my movements while still getting a good pump. So first things first, we're gonna wrap our grips, just like I said, underneath. Oopsies, I slipped. Wrapping, grabbing. Once you're in, like they feel so secure, like you're not going anywhere. So the first exercise is gonna be that superset that we were talking about, which is going to be a sumo deadlift and a sumo squat. So feet are gonna be slightly wider than our hips and slightly turned out. Our dumbbells are gonna be in front of us, and we're gonna basically be pushing back into a hinging movement first, because that's the deadlift. So keeping our dumbbells, nice and close to us, pushing our hips back, squeezing, and then standing. Once we've stood up, we're then gonna go down into our squat. Again, pushing those knees out and then back in. So that'd be 1 rep of each, and we're gonna go for 10 to 12. So as we're pushing back into our hips, we wanna make sure that our back stays nice and flat, our head is neutral, we're not arching through our back, we're not rounding through our low back, just to help with injury prevention. As we come down, coming up, the difference between the squat and the deadlift, you'll see, is my bum stays relatively in the same track, and I'm pushing out with my knees, getting a good hamstring stretch through here, and then I'm also pushing through my glutes and heels to stand. So that is the first exercise. This one, if 2 dumbbells feels awkward, you can just grab 1 dumbbell, in which case you would just kind of grab it like this, and you do the exact same thing with just 1 dumbbell. So if the weight feels too heavy, or if it just feels awkward to hold, you can just do 1 dumbbell instead of the 2. Second movement is going to be our reverse lunge. So this one, depending on your level, you could do this one body weight, or you could do it with your dumbbells. This one, we're gonna be grabbing our dumbbells again, starting here. I'm gonna start with my weaker leg first, which is what I suggest, which is gonna be my right leg. So right leg firmly planted, dumbbells by my side, keeping my core tight. We're gonna take a big step back. As we go down, we wanna basically hit 90-90 in both our front leg and our back leg. We're gonna push slightly forward to stand and come up. So when I stand up, it'll be on a slightly 45-degree angle. It's not gonna be straight up, straight down. So coming back and then pushing forward. From the front view for my knee, you guys have seen me focus on this with Sylv. I wanna make sure that I'm actually having a proper stacking in my leg. So as I come down, I wanna make sure that my knee stays on track with my foot, that it's not caving in and I'm not compensating with my hip. Everything's stacked, and as I stand, same thing, focus on pushing this knee out to stand nice and strong. That's gonna give a better hamstring contraction, as well as our glutes. So those are the main things with a reverse lunge. So whether it's balance or strength as your weaker point, you can always take the dumbbells away if needed. So that is the reverse lunge. Again, 10 to 12 each leg, all one side first, and then switch to the other side. Third movement is going to be our Romanian deadlift, or RDL, which is personally my favorite variation of a deadlift. I'll show you from the side first. It's going to be a hinging movement. So we're gonna be pushing our hips back, nice big stretch in our hamstring, keeping those dumbbells close. Minimal knee bend, but there will be a little bit of a knee bend. and then coming straight up. So it's not a stiff leg deadlift, it's an RDL, so there will be slight bendage in the knees. We wanna make sure our our feet are hip width apart as well as flat, and we're gonna keep a nice neutral head as well. So again, we're not overextending and we're not hunching our back, keeping everything nice and equal. Push back and then squeeze. One of the best ways that I found to get a better engagement in my hamstrings is you actually wanna like picture your muscles as you're doing it. So when you're doing your hamstring and you're going down, you wanna picture your hamstring muscles actually stretching, and like, if you see like a really shredded hamstring, it's like almost like you can see the tie-in with the glute. You wanna picture that in your mind. So even if you don't have that yet, if you're picturing it, it'll help with the engagement of your hamstrings when you're doing the exercise. And then at the very top, basically when I get to like here, like when the dumbbells are on my knees, I start like squeezing like crazy through my glutes, and that also helps with better glute contraction as well, and just overall recruitment of your muscles. As I go through the movement, I'm thinking of first and foremost, pushing back, hinging nice flat back. As soon as I get to the very lowest point, I wanna feel a nice big stretch. And then right about here is where I start to squeeze my legs super, super tight, squeeze my glutes, and stand. Now for me personally, I find a better contraction as well, or just like with more time under tension, if I don't actually fully lock out and stand. So if I were to do my reps, they would look somewhat like this. So I'm not fully standing up, but I'm still squeezing everything, versus actually standing up and relaxing, or just like losing tension. That's how I like to do it. Each person's different, and depending on your goals and where you are in your training, you might wanna do it a different way. Last exercise, we don't need our grip for this one because it's gonna rest right on our lap. We're gonna be doing a glute bridge. It's gonna just basically rest right on our like hip bones. Feet are gonna be relatively close to us, nice and flat, and we wanna make sure that we're pushing our knees like outwards, not like relaxed, but we just wanna make sure there's tension through our legs. We're gonna hold the dumbbell here in place, keeping our core nice and tight. We're gonna push our hips up to the sky, squeeze our bum, and then slow lower, and then come right back up again for here. So this one is gonna be either 12 to 15 like this, or we can make it more focused on a unilateral by doing a B stance, in which case it'd be 12 to 15 each side. So this leg is really only just here for like balance. If you wanna be super duper fancy, you could put it in the air, but I personally don't like doing that. I like to have it here just like that way I have a little bit more support, and I can actually get better engagement in my left glute, which is this leg. This is the working leg, as I come up and squeeze. Major important things here is that we keep a nice neutral spine so we're not arching our back as we do our hip thrust, because that's gonna hurt our low back. We wanna make sure that we're pushing it into the floor, keeping our core nice and strong and tight with each of our reps as we go through. Again, this one's gonna be, or this entire workout, I should say, is 4 rounds, 10 to 12 reps or 12 to 15 reps, depending on where you are. Again, you can always take out the dumbbells if it gets too heavy. And rest periods, I would say after doing all 4 exercises in a row, keep the rest period to around like 30 to 45 seconds. If you're wanting something a little bit like heavier and you're going heavier in all these lifts, maybe take anywhere between a minute to a minute and a half. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you guys are in need of grips, because I know I talked about them a lot, Versa grips is the ones that I use and the ones that I personally really like. Out of all the grips I've used, they're the most like sticky and tacky in terms of being able to actually hold my grip. Not only do they help with my actual like leg movements like this, holding on to dumbbells, but also like my hanging movements or even my pushing movements, because it also adds that wrist support. So that's it for today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video.